Welcome to the St. Louis Blitz 2025. We have Gukesh with the white pieces taking on Sam Shankland. This is going to be a very exciting game. Gukesh has always wanted to work upon his blitz and get better after becoming the classical world champion, and this would be a good opportunity. Handshake and off we go. Pawn to c4, the English opening. g6 by Shankland. Pawn to g3, bishop g7, bishop comes out to g2, and we have the symmetrical English. Now the knight comes out, black also develops his knight, and for Gukesh, knight f3 is an option, e3, he goes e3 with the idea of getting the knight to e2 and castling. Black castles here, knight comes to e2, and he wants to push the pawn in the center with d4, e6 played. Gukesh castles here, and knight c6 and b6 seems like a logical way to continue. He goes knight out to c6. And now, should we go d4? Yes, he goes, takes, pawn takes, and black responds back with pawn to d5. Now you can take the pawn on d5, or you can push the pawn forward with c5. Both moves look possible here. There's also pawn to b3 he takes, knight takes, and Gukesh is wondering whether he should take on d5 or keep this position, because he has the isolated pawn. He goes h3. He tries to keep this structure here where it's asymmetrical rather than taking on d5 and getting a symmetry. And if Sam takes on c3, you can take back with the pawn, and this strengthens white center. But after something like bishop d7, rook c8, knight a5, these squares are weak. He goes b6, and I think this helps Gukesh, because now he can take the knight, pawn takes, and putting the bishop here would not make sense. Takes, takes, bishop comes out to e3. White's position suddenly starts to look slightly better here with the pawn on b6. The knight on c6 is a bit loose. You can go knight to c3, put pressure here, rook c1, queen a4. White's moves are quite easy. Bishop a6 played, and rook quickly jumps to e1. Gukesh wants to get his knight out so that there is no pin on this diagonal. Will Sam want to give up his strong bishop for the knight on e2? That doesn't seem like a great idea. Both players have roughly 4 minutes on the clock. The time control is 5 minutes plus 2 seconds increment. For Sam, maybe one of the ideas is to give up his bishop and play this way when both his pieces are putting pressure on the d4 point. But he goes rook c8. He tries to get his rook into the game. And now Gukesh can move his knight away. He goes to f4, attacking the d5 pawn. How do you even defend it? I think slight discomfort there for Sam. Playing a move like knight e7 is never a happy feeling there. So Sam is considering what to do now. Maybe there's bishop to b7, maybe bishop b5. Complete focus. Queen to d7 played, but doesn't this actually drop the pawn here? Maybe not. After bishop c4, you do get back the d4 pawn. So that's a very good decision by Sam. But on the flip side, Gukesh doesn't have to take this pawn. He can even go queen a4, attacking the bishop here, putting pressure on the c6 knight. In fact, queen a4 is really, really powerful. But it's not. Whoa, he finds it. I was going to say it's not easy to find it because you are tempted by winning of the pawn here. But he's found it. Now queen a4, attacking the bishop, attacking the knight, also the pawn on a7. Shankland completely focused on the board. Bishop to b7 now is met with knight d5. There is no bishop c4 anymore, and you've lost a pawn fair and square here. So Gukesh is thinking, and Sam has to make his move quickly because Gukesh has 3 minutes 37 seconds. Sam has just under 2 minutes on the clock. Wow. It's interesting how in 16 moves Gukesh has managed to actually put a lot of pressure on his opponent. There's one move that can be played here, which is bishop c4. And then you play b3, b5 attacking the queen. And look at Sam trying to calculate all of this. Queen a6 or queen a3. Is the bishop trapped here? Wow. While Gukesh is busy checking other games, just relaxing. And Sam does go bishop c4. He plays it. And will Gukesh make the move b3 quickly, or will he also take a bit of time on the clock? And Gukesh bit surprised there with Sam's move, and Sam shaking his head. He goes b3, b5 played. And now, okay, if queen a6, there's knight b4, and you have to be careful about knight c2. So queen a3 makes sense. There's no bishop f8. The rook is there. The bishop is trapped right now. So perhaps one logical move is b4. Queen a4. Still the bishop remains trapped. The other logical move is g5, trying to kick the knight away so that the bishop gets the d3 square. Sam down to last 40 seconds now. Needs to make a move. His position already quite bad. And Gukesh, in some ways, he's like, okay, this one seems to be in the bag already. g5 played. And now, very important move here for white is to go knight h5. And he finds it. Knight h5, bishop comes to d3 to come back here. And now just take on g7 and take on g5. You can also potentially take directly here, but then queen f5. And there's some problem, so why not start with taking on g7 and then taking the pawn on g5. Takes, bishop g5 played, queen to f5, quickly played by Sam Shankland. But now Gukesh is winning. He goes back, bishop e3, consolidates. He's a pawn up. Rook to e8 played. And now queen to d6. Getting the queen in. Looking at the knight. The pawn here. Bishop e4. A trade is offered. And Gukesh now has to finish this game off accurately. He has 2 minutes on the clock to do so, which is good enough time. He takes on e4. Rook takes e4. That seems like a big mistake now, because yes, bishop h6 check, king g8. You take on e4. And you take with the pawn or the queen. Rook c1 is winning. Queen e4. Rook to c1, attacking the knight. And Well, he goes queen e6. But here's the point. After rook takes c6, rook takes c6, queen d8 is mate. Rook takes c6 is game over. Gukesh chops off the knight. Sam resigns there. A very clean game by Gukesh. Just completely dominating from the opening. Sam did not play a good move in the opening. Maybe b6 was the start of all his worries there. But what was done really well by Gukesh was converting that advantage smoothly. And he gets a very important win